Insights and inspiration from ordinary people having extraordinary impact.
Welcome to Professional Insights with Priya. An event is incomplete without an anchor. An anchor is the one that holds the event from the start to the finish. It is such a pleasure to welcome this guest that I have today. Award winner from not only BW Applause, but EMA, and hosts some of the most wonderful events. One of the few things that I love about her is when she goes on stage, she literally owns it. Yes, the name is Gitikka Ganju Dhar. Gitikka, thank you for taking time and being here. You've been unwell and you are here still. I'm so impressed.
Only for you.
Gitikka, today I'd like you to talk to us about what has your journey been like? What makes you so successful? What makes you, do the right things at the right time and also win all these awards that you won? So let's hear it from you directly. What is the ethos of anchoring according to you?
For me, the ethos of anchoring is really the passion to excel and the unflinching, undying commitment to every single time go out there and do something which is of course your best, but is above and beyond what has been done or anybody would have attempted to do till now. Many people tell me that why is every show so important to you, but it's something that comes naturally to me. Every single time I step out to do a job, whether I'm shooting or anchoring or acting, for me the whole ethos of that is excellent quality, which is probably amongst the best that's been done ever. So that I think is really the starting point of a good anchor.
What is the difference between being an MC, an anchor, or a hostess? There's usually a lot of, people sort of mix all these terms up. How can you explain that?
So anchoring really is a broad umbrella term under which you have a television anchor, you have a newscaster, you have an MC, you have a live host, you have a show host. So different categories. People do not really seem to give a lot of weightage to the subtle differences between all of these categories. A newscaster is a completely different genre of anchoring. A television anchor, again on a commercial show, is very different. On a socially relevant show is very different. An MC is very different. An MC on a social event is different. An MC on a corporate event is different. On a government event is absolutely different. I feel a good anchor is somebody who can adopt herself or himself to these different genres, understanding the subtleties to be laid out and need to be not executed when every job is done.
Wonderful. How has anchoring helped you as an individual?
I think everything that I am today as a person is also because of the work I've done for so many years. When I began, I just completed my post-graduation. So ideally, I should have been a very mature, very clear-headed, very driven kind of an individual. But I was, for the longest time in my career, I was extremely slow-moving, very naive. I'd say my growth as an individual in life has been because of two reasons. One is my work, and the second, of course, is my husband. These two elements have actually framed who I am as a person. So if I wasn't an anchor, I am who I am because of the work that I've done over the last so many years.
What inspired you to take up anchoring, and was there somebody or something that made you say that, yes, I want to be an anchor?
No, that's the weirdest part, Priya. I never ever even knew what an anchor was when I was doing my post-graduation. It was not in the main realm of things in my head. I was training to be a filmmaker from Jamia Masscom, and I was handling camera on my final film. Someone there in the institute saw me. We had producers coming to shoot in our studio facilities. Someone there saw me, offered me a show on television. I was a curious kid, I'm like, oh, dikhte, karte, let's try this, whatever, makeup and hair, whatever silly stuff. So I shot. It was a lot of hard work. We shot in the scorching heat in Horskhas Fort, I remember. That was our first ever shoot. And the makeup had made me look like a like a witch from somewhere, red and yellow and pink or whatever. I figured that I could shoot really fast, I could speak, I could internalize things very fast, and I thought I was okay at what I was doing on the very first day itself. For the first 1 or 2 years, I still kept meandering and pondering that, do I really want to do this? Oh, is this something I want to do, and it was already happening. I truly believe in destiny, and I think me as an anchor is just a classic case of destiny, just saying, okay, now you chup karo, ab this is what you're going to do. I love the fact that I can go out there on stage or at a shoot and deliver what I visualize. Now that's the part that I love.
Can you walk us through your journey as an anchor? What has it been like?
I began with television. And till 2008, 2009, I've done a lot of television from Delhi. I've done shows for Star and Z and Sony and National. I even hosted Chitrahar, at one point. That's a very special memory I had, that I hosted Chitrahar, something that I grew up watching. When I was in Delhi till about 2008, I hosted all kinds of events, and I used to do a lot of work. I would work 25 days a month, and I think that kind of completely burnt me out. And I wanted to take a break and go away and also focus on setting up family and settling down, which I did. I did take sort of a soft break where I did whatever came my way between 2008 and 2011-12, but I did not drive my business aggressively. Post 2012 is when I really see began the very definitive and very meaningful phase of my career. Thanks to the good work that I had done before that, I could come back in and at least be heard. But did that open doors for me? No, it did. So that's when began a very interesting phase, a very challenging phase. Gave me a lot of inspiration to go out there and actually prove this, that I can come back and I can still do much better work. Initially, I would worry that, oh my God, if I'm doing a social space event, am I going to get called in for that PM President event or not? Are they going to think I'm not a very serious anchor to be cast on something as serious as that? But it's happening. One day, I'm on an event where I have the PM sitting in the audience, and the next day, I'm in Jodhpur where I'm actually introducing Salim Suleiman to a gathering of a wedding, and the next day I'm actually going in and doing a conference for a corporate.
Wow.
So right now I'm in that great space where I'm doing almost every genre.
Preparing for any anchoring show that you do, what all does it involve?
Firstly, when I get a call, I very clearly ask, what is the show? Half the time people tell you, this is the date, this is the venue, this is the show, will you do it or not? So I'm like, will you please tell me what the show is about?
Right.
So I can at least choose whether I want to do something like that or not. One is that. Secondly, you try and understand whether you can pull this off for them or not. If not, then I say no. If yes, I go on and do it. Then I ask for a good con call with the agency, then a dialogue with the client. So once that is done, I'm sent a bit of a script draft, a content draft, and this is what the flow is, this is what we want you to say in terms of pointers, and then me and my content team, we take it on. Now for shows like corporate shows and for government shows, you have to freeze the words, because most of the times, at least with my case, everything goes in and gets approved. When it's a social event, of course, then kind of go with your understanding of what needs to be said and what needs to be done. So once you have your content ready, I internalize it and we design the look as to what will my attire be, what will my makeup be, what colors are we going with, what is the color of the decor, what is the color of the brand
that you represent.
all of that, we decide that.
So what is a typical day in your life like, on especially show day?
Earlier I would just be completely knotted around what I was doing, but now I've calmed myself down. I'm more peaceful on a day when I'm working. Ideally, if it's a morning event, of course, I begin very early. So I wake up very early by 5. I do a bit of a rehearsal and I revise my script. So that takes about an hour. Then makeup, hair, and I kind of give myself 10-15 minutes to design my tone. How am I going to be speaking? What are my levels going to be? Where I need to modulate how will I get this audience going? All of that, I do a bit of a 10-minute exercise in my head. And then an hour before the show, I'm just relaxed, I let go, and once it starts, then I'm having like super fun of my life on stage. It's like it's a magical dance of me and my words and my expressions and my actions and my audience, and I can't explain it, but it's almost like I'm not alert on stage, but I'm still alert. I'm not alert to anything else, but I'm alert to what I'm doing, and I'm alert to my audience. I finish up, I go home, and the minute I enter the house, there's my child. And I have to spend time with her. I have to make sure through the day things are organized at home too. You're coordinating on the phone. So very typical, like any other working woman, yeah.
So there's been a lot of progress. I can see you've started out 18 years ago, and today you are where you are. So many awards and so much progress. Such a variety of genres that you're doing. It's just quite fascinating. What do you see yourself in 10 years from now, and where do you see this industry evolving 10 years from now?
So yes, of course, we've had anchors for the longest time. Even when Gandhiji was doing his Padyatra meetings. I'm sure there must have been someone who was
Absolutely.
introducing and calling him on to speak. So this is a role that's eons old. I feel when it comes to news anchors and serious event anchors and serious television show anchors, we have good people. When it comes to events, I have seen a gradual deterioration of quality, and because of that, the anchor's role, though very important, seems to have lost its pull while a show is being put together. If you know that you have someone who can do these wonders for you, do these magics for you there, you design the show a little differently. But if you know that, okay, I'm not going to get someone in this budget who's going to do a really good job, okay, we'll just make this a connect job kind of thing. I hope in the years ahead you don't really see recordings substitute anchors on live events. I really have a feeling that's going to start happening. Or voiceovers replace anchors on events. If anchors want to continue to be the mainstay of events, we all have to get up and do a far better job than we're doing today. You know, because tomorrow there'll be all kinds of augmentation technology. There'll be, you could be somewhere else and you could be getting projected onto a show to the audience from somewhere else. If you're not going to do a good job, I think we're headed in a direction where the anchor's job could actually, in the next 7-8 years, see itself getting minimized. Where I see myself in 10 years is 100% anchoring. Till I think my last day. I'll evolve. Obviously, I'll have grey hair and all of that. And I'll
With
still
pride,
be able to
an
do
elegant
yes.
lady.
Yes, of course. A passion that's been in my heart for the longest time, motivational speaking. I'm going to start writing my books, which I have been holding in my heart for so many years.
That is wonderful.
So these two things will become my mainstay.
So did you ever feel that you needed some sort of help along the way? You would have done better if you had a mentor or a coach?
Yes, faster. So I've never had a mentor and I've never had coaches, but everyone comes with their own destiny, and I should not complain of all the people because I'm having a great ride. So now I'm in that very wonderful place where I get a lot of help and push from everyone without even asking. But I've had to come to that place, and that journey to come to that place has been a long, arduous journey.
I think you're just so wonderful with what you do. Every time you go on stage, I never fail to feel amazed at the kind of work you do. Such professionalism, such authenticity, and such, I think, finesse with which you do your work. It's just so fascinating. What is the advice you'd like to give youngsters who are trying to start out their career and considering anchoring as a profession?
Come one, come all, but come so you can make sense of the chaos and not add to it. We already have too many anchors in the Indian live industry. So please come if you think you can add quality to a very important job of the Indian live industry, because we as an industry are in a great place. We're going to go into a very great place from here. We now only need the good people coming in. What I really see around me is that just about everybody wants to be an anchor, and they think that ये तो बहुत ही आसान काम है, इसमें क्या specialization है? No, it's a very specialized job, and if you're going to do this job, try and do it well. Think about anchoring for the right reasons. Don't just think that you're going to be wearing these gorgeous dresses and traveling to exotic places where the client is going to be footing all your bills. You should first do a self-check. See if you have a good voice. First, to start with, especially if you're going to be on stage, or you're going to be on radio, or you're going to be on television. Ask yourself, do you have a good baritone? Do you have good voice modulation? Secondly, is your personality a vibrant, appealing one? Thirdly, are you well educated? Are you well read? Do you have a reading habit? Are you aware of what's happening around you? You express your thoughts clearly, what you need to communicate about the particular brand or the particular person or the show or the situation. So ask yourselves these questions. Then if this figures, if you tick off all these, then yeah.
Then you should definitely consider it.
Yeah, but it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of, it takes up your entire life. It's a 24/7 kind of a job. So it's not like all glamour and jet set. No, it's not.
Right, I'm sure.
I'm doing almost every genre. Now, there are some genres which I myself will say no to. I believe that though anchoring is largely free of age barriers, but there are some shows where you do require someone who's very, very, very young and extremely different personality or whatever. So I do not sign on for such stuff. There are things that I'm not very comfortable doing, and so where it clashes with my ideas of how the dignity of an anchor, a female anchor on a show, I won't pick a job like that. Yeah,
is there any training that is possible for anchoring?
There are many institutes in Delhi and Bombay. There are institutes in smaller cities too. So figure out what those places are, those avenues are. Please complete your education. Please do your post-graduation. Maturity, education, all of that exposure adds to the weight of a good anchor.
Can you tell me some of the unique events that you have hosted?
Having hosted events with the late President Abdul Kalam, lovely experiences of him remembering, talking, complimenting. He's such a superman. With Mr. Bachchan, every single time I've done an event with him, I've just, it's been, that man, he's just at this level, he's still working so hard, he's rehearsing, he's on time, it's incredible inspiration. I don't ever think whether I'm successful or not. I only think, am I doing a good job, and am I taking my category forward? Am I contributing something that will be remembered when I'm gone?
Women out there who go out there on stage and perform and do what they do, just like you being an anchor, what do you feel people perceive them as?
Whatever they want the audience to think of them. Let me be as frank as that. If you're going to go out there and in your head, in your heart, you believe, I'm a dignified woman, I'm good at what I'm doing, and that is the only thing they will think of you. What they think of you comes from you. It's the vibe that you give out. It's the belief that you're radiating. It's the dignity that either you're losing or holding on to. It's exactly that is what they're going to be thinking of you. And if you are addressing an audience that doesn't have that level of evolution where they can obviously see if a woman is interested or not, and then choose to not do that event. So for me, I have always been viewed as somebody who comes in, does a decent job, and that's it, finishes the job and goes home. The only incident that ever happened with me was more than 17 years or 18 years back. I had just begun, and as it is, I had my huge doubts about whether I wanted to do this or not because of the timings and the travel, and it was just a bit back then a bit of a wild industry. So I remember in a show when I was on the floor at level with my audience, and a channel partner actually stepped out of the boundary and tried to get me to say something which I thought was not very appropriate. And I remember at that very young age just handing the mic to the client and walking out of that show. And they didn't work with me for the next 2-3 years, and I was absolutely okay with it. Today, I know already the vibe that I'm going to get from that side of the audience, or this side of the audience, or that one's not going to give me a very proper vibe. So I know how to manipulate my presence to block that particular side out, or to block that particular person out. So I have never actually let it come to a point where I have to react. I know, I can feel, that's something about me as an anchor which I really value. I pick up vibes. And I know which one's enjoying what I'm saying, which one's not enjoying what I'm saying, who's not looking at me very, very properly. I know how to block that side out. So it's not happened with me after that ever. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think you sort of owned your space, and you make certain
yes.
that you want to protect what
I think that
you go out there to do.
Yeah, my vibe is very clear that this is the job I'm here to do, and beyond this, if you try and mess with me, it's not going to be a very cozy side for you. I believe that no one should have to compromise, and I hope it doesn't come to that for them. But then I also do believe that in the day and age we live in, it's to each his own. Just remember, you represent a category, and you have the responsibility of maintaining the dignity of that job, and what you do or don't do adds on to what people out there think of anchors. So just be responsible, that's all.